What's up, everyone? Y'all miss me? Or do you just miss my album ranking? Because it's back. I know I said that I'm done on the album rankings for a while, but for some reason I just changed my mind and I wanted to do a Dream Theater album ranking, and I'm kind of surprised that I haven't done that ranking sooner. Because they are one of my favorite bands of all time. I really love progressive metal in general. I think the only progressive band that I did an album rank on was Tool, I think about a month ago. And maybe Trivium, not really progressive band in my opinion. They do have some progressive stuff into them, but I don't really consider them as progressive metal in general. But anyway, here it is, guys. I will be ranking all 14 albums from worst to best. I am excluding their 1995 album, Change of Seasons. Why? Because it's an EP album and it's not really a studio album. It just has one original song and the rest is just covers. So yeah, I don't really consider this as a studio album. But but as y'all may know, I will be ranking them from worst to best, all 14 albums. So without further ado, let's get started. This is not a bad album at all. I do like, my main problem with this album is this album is just way too long, and most of the songs are boring and repetitive. I mean, like I said, I do love concept albums, but for this one, it's just the same thing as my thoughts on Judas Priest, Nostradamus. This album is over 2 hours. I know it's a double album, but still. I mean, they could have cut some of the filler stuff out, but even if they did, it would still be filler. But this has to be my least favorite the Dream Theater album, The Astonishing. Not a bad album, but I feel like they would add much better stuff. I wish they would do make more heavier or more epic, because this is my main complaint about this album. It's just too much ballads and interludes, and it kind of makes me want to fall asleep whenever I listen to this album, and I mainly don't go back to it. So this has to come in as my least favorite. I know most of you guys would put When Dream and Day Unite as your least favorite, or consider this to be their weakest, but the reason why I think this album is slightly better than The Astonishing is because it has its perfect timing, and I don't find any of the songs on there boring. But the reason why I have to put this album very low is because I think the production is pure shit, in my opinion. The vocalist, I forgot his name. He doesn't really fit in that in this category, in my opinion. Let me look up who's that guy's name. I mean, he's not bad or anything. Oh, Charlie Dominique, Charlie Dominique. Sorry, I said that last name wrong. I don't think he's a bad vocalist. He just doesn't really fit with progressive metal. That's my only complaint with this album. I don't find any song boring from that album. It's just I just not a fan of the production and the vocalists. The rest is just pretty fine where it is. So yeah, this has to be my second least favorite. Alright, a dramatic turn of the events. I know it's a bit surprised to put this very low, but the reason why is because it has a lot of filler songs on this album. Like, usually the ballads are the main cause why I put this low, but they're not bad at all. It's just I just find it too long and repetitive, and but my favorite song for this album would probably be Outcry. It's just like a typical Dream Theater epic track. Also the drumming through this album. At first I wasn't a fan of Mike Mangini's performance with this band, but then whenever I started listening to it, I started to appreciate his drumming a lot more in the future. He's been improving a lot. But yeah. So yeah, I usually don't really. I had to put this low because I mainly don't really go back to this album very much, and it just has some filler tracks here and there. But overall, it's a pretty solid album, but it's just far from their best. Now, I know this may be a shock to y'all for putting Octavarium that low, but the reason why is mainly because of the first half of this album. The Root of All Evil, it's a part of the 12-step suite, and I just kind of find it a bit fillery for some reason, and it kind of lacks everything from the first two songs from that 12-step suite. It just has a lack of epicness for some reason, in my opinion. And then the next three songs, okay, after that song up until Panic Attack, Answer Lies Within These Walls and I Walk Beside You are just filler in my opinion. I Walk Beside You is probably the worst Dream Theater. I actually don't like that song.
Don't abandon me or think you can't be saved. I walk beside you wherever you are, whatever it takes, no matter how far, through all that may come and all that may go. I walk beside you.
It's just that song is just way too repetitive, and they have, I don't know what they're thinking with that song. I just don't like it. Panic Attack is an amazing song. Okay, starting with Panic Attack, the album goes right up to epicness, to like a masterpiece. So Yeah, the reason why I had to put this album very low is because the first half of this album, Never Enough, kind of like a ballad song, but it got better later on to heavy. Sacrifice Sons is mainly about the 9/11 attacks, and then starts off with a very slow ballad, and then it gets really heavy. Octavarium is one of my favorite Dream Theater songs of all time. It's like having ear sex or some shit like that. I mean, if not probably my top 3 favorite Dream Theater songs of all time. So yeah, I'm just very disappointed whenever I listen to the first half of this album. And then starting with Panic Attack, it just gets much better. So that's why I have to put this very low on this list.
Why this complex delirium? Pain is real as a cut that bleeds. The face I see every time I try to sleep, staring at me crying. I'm running from the enemy inside.
Originally, this is going to be, the self-titled album was originally going to be higher on this ranking, but I decided to put it lower because of the last 2 songs. Along for the Ride, it's a decent song with a bit of filler, but it's not too much. Illumination Theory is probably the most filler song on this from this album. Just like Octavarium and 12-Step Sweep. I'm a big fan of the Change of Seasons. I just a big fan of those type of songs. But for this one, I don't think the song is bad. My main problem with it is that the intro just takes too long to start, and the interlude for, I think it was for the Pursuit of Truth section, it just takes way too long for me. And same with the outro, it just took too much time with the opening sections, in my personal opinion. But I don't think any of it is bad. It's just they could have just cut some of the stuff out. But besides these last 2 songs, everything else is just pretty much perfect. But there's more good to this album than, well, I don't think any songs are bad, like I said before. Mike Magany's drumming has improved a lot than his last album, than their last album, The Dramatic Turn of the Events. Now, like I said at first, whenever I first listened to this album, I didn't really care for it that much, mainly because I never thought, because at first I just said, like, Dream Theater is not the same without Mike Portnoy, or Mike Portney, but you know what? But anyway, yeah. But whenever I started listening to this album, it kind of started to change my mind, and I'm starting to like Magany's drumming. He's nowhere near the level as Mike Portney. I mean, that's no disrespect to Mike Magany. However, I do respect him a lot, but I just prefer Mike Portney performing these songs. But yeah. So yeah, this has to go in at number 10. Alright, Systematic Chaos. This is a really great album, but I had to put this at number 9 in my opinion, is because it just has a little bit of filler on this album, like songs like Forsaken and Constant Motion, but the rest, and also Repentance, I thought that's a filler song. Yes, I know it's part of the 12-step suite series, but I just feel like, yeah, I know it's a ballad, but I think the 10 minutes is just way too long for it. It's just the entire ballad track that is like almost 11 minutes. They could have cut some of the filler stuff out. I mean, yeah, I know there's a lot of guest spokens on there, like Corey Taylor, Chris Jericho. I know who, you know who I mean. Chris Jericho, David Ellison, Steven Wilson, you know who I mean. But anyway, originally, Mike Courtney was originally going to put Dave Mustaine, Bruce Dickinson, Geoff Tate, and James Hetfield to be as one of the guests from the Repentance, but unfortunately, it put him off. So yeah, this is probably my least favorite in the 12-step suite series, but it's good, but it just has some filler. My favorite song from there would probably be The Dark Eternal Night. I am a fan of Mike's drumming on this song. Especially the chorus. I also love the Ministry of Lost Souls and the Presence of Enemies Part 2. I just love those songs. But it has to come in at number 9 for me. Excuse me. This album is a lot better than I expected. I always thought it was going to be like a mediocre album, but in my opinion, this is probably the best Dream Theater in the McGinney era. In my opinion, they just came much better album than the Astonishing. It sounds like Dream Theater again with their epicness. Yes, it does has a few fillers here and there, but most of the songs are just epic. Yes, it's shorter than their usual albums, but fuck it. This is Dream Theater returning with a much heavier sound and much better album. Whether it's shorter or not, Dream Theater is back. My favorite songs on there would be Untethered, Angel, Paralyzed, Fallen into the Light, Barstool Warrior, and my favorite song of all time for this album is At Wit's End. I just love that song, dude. Sorry if I'm not saying much, but this is an amazing album. I just love this album, but unfortunately, this has to be at number 8 for me. This is a very unpopular opinion, but I love Falling Into Infinity. I thought this was an amazing album. Yes, it's softer than their usual albums, but I find most of the but I thought they did amazing songwriting. I really don't consider this album as mainstream. For me, they kind of want to do something different in their music, and for some reason, for me, it pretty much worked. And the reason why is because they were pretty much pressured from the record label to writing a more mainstream album, and they pretty much did it the better way of doing it. Yes, but it's still an amazing album. I just really enjoy this album a lot. I love all songs from this album. My favorite song of all time from this album would probably be "Lines in the Sand." It sounds like a typical Dream Theater sound. It's just, I feel like this is a very epic song. Yeah, not the and according to the band, it's the most hardest album they ever made. So yeah, because of their record label pressuring them into making a much more radio-friendly mainstream album. But for me, I think this is a really great album, and I do see where most people are coming from for putting Falling Into Infinity lower than the usual, their usual lower list. But for me, this is definitely at number 7 because I really like Falling Into Infinity a lot. I don't care what many people say. I thought this is an amazing album. Plus, I've been on doing the video track by track review for this album after this video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, Falling Into Infinity comes in at number 7. I know some of you guys will be pissed at me for putting it at number 6 instead of number 3, but I really love this album. There's nothing wrong with this album, no filler, but the reason why I have to put this at number 6 is because I think the albums above Awake are just more appealing to me, and I just like the 5 albums more than this. But I really love Awake a lot. I like all songs. My favorite song from this album would probably be Scarred. It's just a very epic song, and it's definitely a very influential progressive album, and I just really enjoy it. But yeah. Like I said, a really great album, very influential, definitely a masterpiece album, but I just have to put this at number 6. But yeah, even the Silent Man, the ballad track, it's not filler at all. It's just a ballad. 6 O'Clock, a very catchy song, a very epic chorus that I just love singing along to. Caught in the Web's a great one. Innocent Faded, and then we got the instrumental track, Erotomania. Actually, it's actually a part of a mini-series called A Mind Beside Itself, a song cycle with along with Voices and the Silent Man. I find that pretty interesting. But other than that, I really love Awake a lot. But surprisingly, it has to come in at number six for me.
Ran into Julie and said we'd get together soon. He always had my heart, he needs to know. I'll break free of the
I know you guys are gonna get pissed off even more for putting Metropolis Part 2 Scenes of a Memory at number 5 instead of number 1. But let me tell you this. Like I said about Awake, I think the top 4 albums are better than this album in my opinion. I love this album. This is an amazing album. Definitely, it's a concept album. It's like you're listening to one song for the entire 77 minutes. Accordingly, they're originally going to put Metropolis Part 2 as a song, like a 21-minute song from Falling Into Infinity, but unfortunately, the record label wouldn't let them do that because they have to write a more mainstream album. So they put in, so they decided to make the entire album. But yeah, I just really love this album. My favorite songs from there: Overture 1928, Strange Deja Vu, Fatal Tragedy. The Dance of Eternity is my favorite Dream Theater instrumental song. That is just mind blowing. My favorite song on there would probably be the epic Finally Free, the final track, Finally Free. It just tells the story. What this album is mainly about is some guy who is going through a past life tragedy about his girlfriend dying, and then he is seeing like hallucinations and shit like that, and then he's going like on recovery, and then it's about some guy named Nicholas, and it's about some tragedy happened with a lot of twists in it. It's kind of like watching some kind of opera show or something like that. That's why I really loved about this album, but unfortunately this comes in at number 5. We got an amazing album at number 4, Images and Words. Tell me no, this is their first album with James LaBrie on vocalist, who replaced Charlie DeMonicky. And this is a masterpiece album, I should say. I just love this album. Definitely an influential album. Every single song from my favorite song of all time would probably be Metropolis Part 1, The Miracle and the Sleeper. This is probably my favorite song from this album. The instrument Under a Glass Moon's amazing. Every single song from start to finish. There's really nothing else to say here on the masterpiece albums. It's just epic. That's pretty much all I have to say for this one. This is a very unpopular opinion, but Black Clouds and Silver Linings is a masterpiece album if you think about it. I know a lot of you were thinking that I was going to put this at the middle, but think about it. 6 songs, 0 filler, even the song Wither. There is not one song that I would fall asleep on a little, just a little, like 1%. We got A Nightmare to Remember is very unpredictable. Mike Portnoy performed blast beats on this song for the very first and only time for Dream Theater. Sadly, this is the final album with Portnoy on drums before leaving the band in 2010. And we got A Rite of Passage. Best of Times is too emotional. I almost cried on that song. It's mainly about Portnoy's dad dying from cancer. The Shattered Fortress, which is the final song from the 12-step suite, and I find that to be very epic, and I just love the conclusion for it. The Count of Tuscany is probably one of my favorite Dream Theater epics of all time. I just love the melodies. I love especially the outro and the keyboards, the solos. It's just everything that's perfect. I have a very small problem with it, but it doesn't really destroy my likeness for this song. It's mainly just a very long interlude, but it's not that long. Just my little small complaint, like, you know what, fuck it. I take that back. It's perfect where it is. No improvement needed. Just a perfect album at number 3. I just love it. I just love this album a lot. This has to come in at number 3 for me. Six Degrees of Inner Turbulence is a masterpiece album. Yes, the album cover looks generic and boring, but the music is just, oh my god, dude. I think it's like orgasm to my ears that it kind of busted a nut a little. That was fucking stupid. But anyway, this album is very, very long, and I just love it. Every song, I just love how a very long album has no filler at all. From start to finish. The Glass Prison, Blind Faith, Misunderstood, Great Debate, and the 42-minute track, 6 Inner Turbulence. It's just amazing. I mean, one of the best progressive albums I ever listened to. I mean, what more can you expect? What more can I say about this album? It's just perfect from start to finish. I just love the guitar riffs, the keyboards, and Mike Portnoy's drumming. Everything is just perfect. What else can I say? Nothing. There's nothing I can say. I just love this album.
I'm trying to believe, stop wallowing in my self-pity. We're waiting for you, my friend. The writing's been on the I wanna feel your body breaking, wanna feel your body breaking and shaking and left in the cold. I wanna heal your conscience.
Train of Thought is my favorite Dream Theater album of all time. This song is extremely heavy from start to finish. Oh my god, dude. I love every single song from this album. As I Am, this Dying Soul, this is my favorite from the 12-step suite. The guitar riffs, Endless Sacrifice, Honor Thy Father, Vacant, Stream of Consciousness, In the Name of God. Dude, if you haven't listened to this album, you better start listening right now. This is like the heaviest Dream Theater album mixed with epicness of songwriting. It's just very unpredictable. I am a big fan of John Petrucci's riffs throughout this album. Jordan Rudess keyboards, everything for this album. It's just very technical, very progressive, very heavy. It's just perfect. This is a perfect album for me whenever. Plus, this album is only recorded in 3 weeks. It was recorded in 3 weeks. And it's just perfect. Every song. That's all I have to say here for this one. Alright guys, so that is my album ranking for Dream Theater. And please tell me yours in the comments. My next video will most likely be a review for Dream Theater's Falling Into Infinity. It's not going to be a typical review that I did on my phone. It's going to be on my computer with live footages, just like I did with my album ranking, but I'm going to review track by track, and I'm going to give an explanation why I love this album. So yeah, I don't know what my next album ranking will be, but I don't know yet. So, but I'll let y'all know soon. For now, hope you all enjoy this video. Give this a like and subscribe for more. And I will see y'all next time. Peace out.
Admissions will help expel your destructive obsessions. With my help, I know you can.